كذا ودايما تقعد معنا زي أختي.
They love her so much and they're very enthusiastic kids and very happy. Yes, they did. They always used to talk to me about her. Yeah, they used to play with her and she would play with them and she loved them and she would take them out. And
when the trial was pending, we were at the mosque. This was another big thing that happened. Supposedly, Turkey had restriction order against the maid. However, the girls saw her in the mosque praying during Ramadan, and they ran to her. They ran to her, the girls, and they hugged them. She hugged them. I was a witness there, and she began to cry. Later on,
you saw that yourself?
I saw that myself. I was right there
during the trial.
During the trial, and it was Ramadan, and we were in the mosque praying Taraweeh prayer. And it was told later on by Michelle, because she reported to the FBI, that she was frightened, that's why she was crying. Yet she was hugging these two girls, they were hugging her. And it was amazing to see, because it was clear that she was attached to them and the kids were attached to her. And it was so sad.
ليس سرا أن أقول أنني أعرف من يعرف الأسرة وأعرف من يعرف الخادمة قبل أن تصل إلى الأخ حميدان. هادئة، يعني على علاقة وثيقة، بل لدرجة كما قال أخونا حميدان أنها صارت جزء من الأسرة، تذهب في التسوق معهم، تذهب في حتى خلواتهم وعطلاتهم، تذهب معهم وكأنها جزء من الأسرة، بل إنها تشاركهم أيضا وجباتهم. فالمسألة ثارت مثل الانفجار المفاجئ، ولحسابات طبعا للأسف موجودة على الساحة الأمريكية.
إن كانت التهمة تحرشا جنسيا وسرقة أموال الخادمة، فلماذا استخدمت رئيسة فريق الادعاء دمية ترتدي نقابا وصفها البعض بالقبيحة؟ ولماذا أجبرت زوجة حميدان على خلع حجابها ونقابها داخل المحكمة بشكل لا يتماشى مع عادات ودين المتهمة؟ ليس هذا وحسب، بل لماذا قالت رئيسة هيئة الادعاء عنها إنها تستحق مكانا في الجحيم؟ هكذا يتساءل السعوديون.
Why did you or the prosecutor say to his wife your place is reserved in hell?
I didn't say that to her. I said it to her attorney. Her attorney was asking for a disposition that would stipulate that she do no time in jail. I felt that while I didn't want to orphan the children and I was willing to go with a probationary disposition, I still felt that her conduct towards the victim in terms of taking advantage of her hard work for 4.5 years without paying her an appropriate wage, which is what she pled guilty to, theft, stealing, that she needed to have some consequence, and that her behavior in keeping this young woman against her will for years and making her work the kinds of hours that she did.
جون ريتشلانو رئيس فريق الدفاع عن حميدان لم يرى ضرورة لاستخدام الادعاء النقاب أو الحجاب كدليل على سوء معاملة الخادمة، وأن الفروق الثقافية والدينية استغلت بشكل لا يتماشى مع الحريات الدينية.
The prosecutor said in her opening remarks to the jury that the niqab was intended to make the housekeeper invisible. And we took very, very strong exception to that. And I think the jury understood. By the end of the case, the jury understood that that wasn't right. That people should have the freedom to impose on themselves the restrictions that they believe are consistent with their religion. Just like the older daughter testified, I wear the niqab because it brings me closer to God. Many of the witnesses called by the prosecution, the female witnesses from the Islamic community, wore the niqab on top of the hijab.
أخذوها للمحكمة بدون نقاب وبدون حجاب، يعني حتى أبسط الأمور اللي يعترف فيها القانون الأمريكي يعترف بحرية الديانة وحرية المذهب وكذا، ويعني كان يفترض أنه على الأقل تعطى حجاب، فكانوا يجبرونها على أنه ينقلونها من مكان لآخر تمر من مقابل الرجال أو شيء، وهذا الشيء يعني فيه جرح حقيقة كبير لكرامتها، وشيء يعني في امتهان للقيم اللي تؤمن فيها، امتهان واضح.
يعني يطلعون امرأة عفيفة كانت تلبس النقاب ولا تفارقه، يطلعونها بدون شيء، بشعرها بدون ولا حتى حجاب يغطي شعر رأسها.
I was there when they brought her out from the jail cell, and they asked that she be covered, you know, and they refused to do it. They brought her out with her hair showing and everything showing.
Really?
So that was very embarrassing for her, and for the community for that matter, to bring her out in that manner. It was completely uncalled for.
You saw it yourself?
I saw it myself.
الإمام عبد الرحيم علي إمام المركز الإسلامي لشمال شرقي مدينة دنفر، الذي يشارك وزوجته في إدارة جمعية تحالف الأديان والعمل الخيري، يقول إن دليل براءة حميدان هو شهادة الخادمة نفسها.
Somebody got to her because she completely changed her story. Not just one time. On 2 or 3 occasions, she completely changed her story. And so that was very telling to me, you know, because, you know, you want to hear, let's see what she has to say. You know, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there might be a grain of truth to what she said. But let me hear. And when I heard 2 or 3 different stories, then I know that they got to her.
The prosecutors, I think, she and other people said she was in prison and she was not allowed.
Those
to
are
go out.
lies. Those are absolute lies. And her name is Zuleika, and she herself knows that that's not what occurred. That she was not in prison. Her room at the end of was located by a patio door that she could have walked out anytime she felt like.
Really?
Unlocked. Yes. Oh yes.
You made it look like it is a Muslim faith in court.
Oh, I don't think so. I think, to me, as an American woman, and recognizing that I'm having to have an American jury with our mindset understand a young woman who comes from a third world country, who is not very educated, who doesn't speak the language, who has been in Saudi Arabia in a place where she could be arrested if she walked out the door by herself. So that's now become part, well, if she's not escorted, you know, independently to walk out on her own, she might have a problem.
It was very ill-conceived, and I thought very, it wasn't effective because the jury didn't accept it. It was an appeal to, I thought, ignorance. It was an appeal to think negatively about Mr. El-Turki because of these clothing behaviors without looking into the reason for it. I thought it was very poorly done and very cynical, and, you know, it didn't work.
Why would a judge agree to this?
We discussed how to approach this. And it was my view that allowing the mannequin to be shown with this kind of, it was not even the right sort of niqab that she wore. It was something that looked more sinister. It had a black band, and you know, it was the housekeeper testified, no, that belongs to a friend of mine. That's not mine.
No, I've never seen it before. You know, I'm sure it's been described to you. The mannequin was dressed in a full traditional woman's outfit that seemed very bizarre to the jury because they're not familiar with such dress.
كانت هيئة المحلفين نفسها محل انتقاد البعض، ليس في تركيبتها العرقية وحسب، بل في تصرفات بعض أعضائها أثناء المحاكمة.
Did you see that jury who was asleep during the trial?
Yeah, I did. Well, there were like a bunch of kids, and from what I could tell, they usually looked like young kids, maybe 18 or something like that. 18 or 19. Yeah, there were some kids, and there was like in the first row there are young kids, and in the back row there are older gentlemen and ladies, but they seemed like they were just, when is this going to be over with? They just didn't seem interested at all. They just seemed like, oh, okay, I know what I'm going to say, and yeah, he's guilty, whatever, just let me sleep.
It's not uncommon for a juror to be seen napping. Sometimes trials are, tedious and boring. This particular juror, I mean, we made a point of it and we made our record. It's not an easy answer to give about, well, how could a judge allow this? A judge can do many things.
But in your view, it didn't affect the trial in any way?
I don't think that there was, we saw facial expressions on his face that we thought were favorable throughout the case.
You talked about the jury in all white, but it's randomly chosen. I mean, the jury is randomly selected.
Well, I don't know how random it is. If you got all white people on the jury, it's more. You got people of color in Arapahoe County, so it's something wrong with that picture right there, as far as I'm concerned.
You think he's not?
So he's not a jury of his peers.
Well, let's address that. The initial pool of jurors in the United States is selected totally at random. It's a computer random system. You call in the broad cross-section of people. Once the pool is there, then it's up to the lawyers. They call people into the box, and lawyers choose the jury by excluding people that they don't like, essentially, and you have up to 12 exclusions.
So the judge can do that?
Oh, absolutely. And trust me, his attorneys did exclude people from the jury that they didn't think were appropriate. And this is what's left, but it starts with a broad cross-section of the community. If you're an American citizen, you will get called into jury duty. So that's one thing. When they point out certain things that they didn't like about the trial, it's up to the judge to make legal rulings throughout the trial, and also to, for example, when somebody says, well, that juror's not paying close enough attention, they point that out to the judge, and the judge makes a ruling whether or not there's been some unfairness that has occurred. This particular judge found that there was no impropriety in the jury conduct. Mr. Al-Turki has the right to appeal every single aspect of that case, and is doing so.
I think the jury selection process was unfairly done, that the judge did not give us an opportunity to talk to the jurors about their potential prejudice against Muslims and Saudis and Middle Easterners. And the judge should have given us additional time to do that, because I believe that's a big problem. And I think the judge's unwillingness to do that created error in the trial and might lead to a new trial.
I don't think we had a completely white jury panel or white veneer. You are in an area of the country where it is predominantly white.
Is it? Somebody told me there is quite a mix, in Denver.
In Denver?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not maybe quite as mixed, but no, I don't think the entire veneer was completely white. I don't recall the composition.
There was no jury
of
his peers.
Well, the way we constitutionally define jury of your peers, it doesn't mean your brothers, your friends, and your sisters are sitting on the panel. It means a fair cross-section of the community.
بعيدا عن الجدل بخصوص عشوائية اختيار المحلفين، لماذا حضر عملاء المباحث الفيدرالية FBI المحاكمة؟ وهل هذا إجراء عادي في مثل هذه القضايا؟